Okay, hello. And this is the welcome to That IT Show, the podcast about something that we are going to quickly do on the fly. Uh,
Some random thought. Come on, let's go.
no. This week is going to be hilarious because I want to. When you say that I speak a lot during the podcast, this is going to be the podcast where I'm going to speak a lot because I want to put you into perspective how creation ISPs work.
Oh, that I definitely do want to know.
So imagine ISP, let's call it A.
Hmm.
ISP A is a small ISP. It's based near Zagreb. It is basically, I would guess, 10 to 12 people at most are running it. It has a couple of thousand of subscribers. And from everything that I see while working with them, they are just a bunch of competent but um, people who decided to create an ISP because they could and didn't think about if they should do it. So the speeds are decent, the infrastructure is semi decent. I haven't had a lot of problems with them. Sometimes my only problem is that they change my IP address during the workday, which actually is a problem for me because sometimes it disrupts my workflow when I am unable to do the lectures. So, and this is the ISPA. The ISPB is the former Croatian telecom. Now, let's call it ISPB. We are not going to name any other names. And they have a subsidiary.
Hmm.
This subsidiary offered me a pretty nice deal on the wireless, or to be more precise, on the wired internet. And I decided that since I had a problem with ISP-A, I decided that I'm going to just accept the offer, and I'm going to use the ISP-B as the ISP that I'm going to use as a backup link.
Hmm.
I have a router that supports failover links. I can configure it. It's easy. Uh, that ISPB actually offers you ability to do VLANs, so you can actually route traffic to TV, to voice, and to the internet separately. You can actually get a STAN server, so you can connect your VoIP telephony to the fixed network, and that's it.
Okay.
So this is one thing. Now, what I wanted to do was I was pretty happy with the internet I had with the ISP A. It was working. It was working, I would say, 9 out of 10. It didn't create any problems. And then I got the offer from the ISPB. Then they said that they're going to be here 4 weeks ago. Then, after the first initial appointment, which I got, which was supposed to be a Thursday, 14 days ago or something. No calls, and then suddenly a guy calls me on Friday and says I can be there in half an hour. I said that's nice for you, but I cannot. So let's reschedule this for Monday. And Monday is not a great idea for me because I'm on a trip tomorrow, so I need to go. I need to leave for a bit, and it basically doesn't fit into my plans. But okay, he's going to just do his thing. He needs to connect me to the fiber optics directly. So yesterday, two guys show up, and they do the usual stick about who did this before us, why is this done this way, why is there no space in the channels to the house, is there any other way for us to connect this thing other than the optics, and so on and so on and so on. And then after moaning and doing a lot of things for 3 or 4 hours, they were supposed to be finished.
Mhm.
Now, while they were there, I was trying to check something on the internet, and I realized that my ISPA is no longer working. Just to make one point clear, in Croatia, ISPs are not allowed to share infrastructure, so they need to create their own infrastructure whenever possible. And then I told the guys, okay, the internet stopped working in the exact same time while you were doing the connection of the new cable to my house. They said, no, this cannot be, this is not possible. Anyway, so we spent half an hour trying to debug things. This was not their problem. They just went away, and I got wanting to have two internets. I ended up having zero. Now, the next day comes. Today, the guy from the other ISP shows up, the ISPA, which is a pretty nice guy because since they have, as I said, something like 10 people, he's part of the team. The other guys were subcontractors that were just there to connect me to the internet. And the guy from the ISP is actually a full-time employee of the ISP, and he's the only one doing the technician parts here. And basically, he spent half an hour trying to debug. And then we realized that while they were pulling the cables inside the connection tubes between the street and my house, they managed to actually break, and by break I mean entirely sever the optical lines to my house. So he needed to change the lines, which is fine. I would expect a technician from an ISP to be able to pull a line of, I don't know, 20 meters and be able to deal with it.
Mhm.
Then came the part where he doesn't have the necessary equipment, he doesn't have the tooling, he doesn't have the cable.
Mhm.
Then he needs to wait for another guy to show up from another part of the city with the cable and the tooling. Then it takes him half an hour to pull the cables, which is fine. Then it takes him another half an hour to actually realize which cable is what and what connection to splice what connection. And then he managed to fix this thing. Meanwhile, the ISP Bay decided that they are not finished because they have pulled the cable, but they don't have the router.
Of
So
course.
they need to give me the router. And a guy calls me at more or less 6 o'clock in the evening, so
Mhm.
4 hours ago, and told me I can give you the router when you want. And I said, okay, it's either right now or in 10 days. And I said, oh, he said, okay, it is fine for me. I'm going to be there right now. He shows up, lights up the fiber optics, and says, oh, this is the wrong line. I said, okay. And then he actually told me, I'm going to leave the laser on, so to light the line. And then he's going to have a short drive to the Selska Street ADC, so the exchange. And he's going to find my optical cable there because it is going to be. He hopes that it is going to be a light up.
Easier. Mhm.
So because they don't have a person there, so he needs to put the laser here, then go in his car, spend 10 minutes driving there, park, go to the second floor, find my cable, connect it, and then come back. So 20 oddish minutes later, he shows up and he says, "Okay, we found the problem. They mismanaged. They missed documented the connections. Now I can connect it to the fiber optics." So I said, "Okay, fine. Is it possible for me to also get the line through the VLANs and to configure the VLANs?" He said, "No. I'm just going to connect you to the router. the router is not going to give you any VLANs and any possibility to connect anything other than the actual router. And then if you need anything else, you need to contact company C that is going to give you the necessary information to contact company B to be able to connect. So all in all, I spent 6 hours I was 2 days without internet. The internet is basically halfway there, and none of the people involved were able to do their job correctly. So
That's it.
amazing. Yes, that's it. It's amazing.
But that sounds so much. Pardon me for saying this. That's perfect corporate entity for you, or set of corporate entities for you.
Um,
Or you think that you cannot surpass their chaos.
I'm just going to go with. I had to help the poor guy that was the other guy. So the from the SPA, because he was a single person. So he had to pull the 30 odd meter line by himself,
Hmm.
which is more or less impossible if you need to do it. So I had to help him pull the line, and if it weren't for me actually pulling the lines a couple of years ago and actually doing this work, I don't know how he would do this. And he actually said it. He said that he wouldn't be able to connect me if I wasn't able to help him. And I'm so I'm astonished. I'm going to go with astonished because I'm not mad. It's
Hmm.
just immensely frustrating to see that we have reached a point where there is not a single person that is able to connect you to the internet unless you know how to do it yourself.
So let's put it this way: you tried creating a situation in which you had multiple internet links, aka
Yes,
failover, and they failed it for you.
they failed. They failed the over. Yes,
They failed the over, and then they failed the other over as well.
yes. But what I realized is another thing. While I was looking at them, and while I was looking at how everything is done, and how everything is being configured, and everything else, I realized that if I wanted to do a dark fiber connection between you and me, by
Hmm.
you and me I mean your house and my house, only thing I need is something that looks like a utility WAN.
Hmm.
I need a splicer, and I need probably a couple of hours. Because nobody has any documentation how is anything connected. Everybody believes only the small notes inscribed with the pen on the different slots for the on different fiber optic cables. So if I just said Vedant to Yasmin link and just went through the entirety of the connections, I'm completely sure that we will be able to connect across the city using the existing clients, and nobody would notice. And I have a pretty, uh, I'm pretty sure that this wouldn't be noticed at all. By at all, I mean that we would die before the link itself would be noticed by anybody else, because nobody knows what is connected where. Nobody knows what is connected to each house. The house numbers are completely disconnected. So nothing works. Actually, nothing works.
Okay. So what's the aftermath?
The aftermath is that I need to now contact companies B, C, D, F, G, whatever, and get them to first connect my old landline, because the landline itself is disconnected. Um it remained connected to some fiber pair, to some copper pair somewhere, and they don't know where. This
Hmm.
is another thing. And then I need to reconfigure the VLANs, which I don't know when this is going to happen, how this is going to happen. And then I need to configure the trunks on my equipment. I need to separate the VLANs. And to be completely honest, I have zero idea why am I even doing this anymore. Because this is turning into a reconfiguration of the half of the network in Zagreb.
I have a question for you.
Of course you do.
Yes. Didn't you say, oh, about a year ago that you had free independent network connections already?
Yes. And then I decided that I'm going to work on making them more stable and reconfiguring them to be not on based on copper, but based on the fiber optics.
Okay.
So one of them went away because the other two were stable, and I disconnected the 5G line because I didn't see the reason why I would have the 5G line connected. And then the fiber optics was supposed to be seamlessly disconnected from the copper to the fiber optic connection. So the other connection should have been done correctly, because if everything was done correctly yesterday, I wouldn't see any problems with the internet. What would happen was probably a person would be at my place today. They would disconnect or connect me, disconnect the copper, connect the fiber optics, give me the new router, and that would be it. I don't even need the router anymore because they are able to provide me with the media converter and then provide me with wheel and trunk. So I don't need the router itself. So this was the idea. But as we say, the ideas are a nice thing in networking, but then there's execution.
No, there's reality, I think, not only execution.
No, but I think that the execution is reality. The main problem that we all have when it comes to things that are happening is that we are trying to make systems work with people who are not qualified anymore.
Hmm.
And I don't think that this is the problem that is confined only to Croatia. I
No.
have a strong suspicion that there is a huge. Uh, I'm going to go with discontinuity between people who want to have the network to run and between the people who know how to create the network that actually runs. Because there is a peculiar amount of know-how and special skills required to be able to connect more or less the actual infrastructure at what they call the last mile. So the connections to the people's houses and people's apartments.
Hmm.
And this is a non-negligible amount of skills. And people think that everybody can do it.
Hmm.
The guy that I was talking today said that his boss said that it takes 1 week to teach a person how to create a connection for the house,
Okay.
which I strongly disagree.
Uh, I'm still not happy with your answer to the aftermath question. Was there any other aftermath? Did you create some kind of a mess?
Uh,
Did you shout? Did you report? Did you ticket? Did you help desk?
yes, 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 yes,
Come
yes,
on, tell
yes.
us the whole story.
No. I just send the timeline. I created the or I made the images, and I sent them to the help desk, and I said, okay, how much is this worth? I'm just going to be quick. This is capitalism. I just
Hmm.
want a freebie. It just depends on how many months I'm going to have a free service,
Hmm.
because I don't care. The service was disconnected. It's their fault. My SLA was rudely disrupted.
Hmm.
So I don't want my money back. I just want my money's worth of connection.
You want your refrigerators,
Yes, I want just to have to be able to
your
connect the.
MTV.
Yes, but the thing is that on the other hand, now I have a pretty interesting configuration in which I have two separate fiber optics connections to different
Service
ISPs,
providers. Hmm.
and one of those fiber optic connectors is actually dark fiber to a data center.
Hmm.
And now comes the part where I'm going to try to see if I'm able to convert this connection to an actual 10G connection and see what happens.
Okay, I have more questions.
Yes, I know.
This is
I
this is
know.
fun for me.
Yes, I know.
Okay, what did you learn out of this experience? Please share with us.
Always have fun with the ISPs.
I mean, what did you really learn? Or what do you think they should learn from this? Even better.
There is no way for them to learn anything. This is the first thing that I learned, because the thing is that they are not going to buy. They're not going to pay better people. They are not going to invest in better equipment. They are not going to invest in things that are, I would say, completely necessary to do the job they do. Because the thing that they're missing is they are sending out people with utility vans that are not equipped to do the job they're supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have necessary tooling. They don't have necessary, not only the tools, but also the devices that they need. So splicers, they don't have detectors. They are unable to do the network scanning. They're unable to do. One of the guys didn't even have the tool to be able to tell me where the connection was broken, because I was asking, can he just measure where the connection was broken? Because, as you know, it's basically extremely simple to just say, okay, the fiber optic cable is either damaged or broken at whatever the length is.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't have any equipment to do this. He didn't even have the alcohol necessary to do the splicing, so he wasn't able to clean the optics. So it's just the comedy of errors, and in the end, I was without internet for 2 days.
Okay, what about so they don't have anything labeled?
They have labels, but the labels are pretty misleading. So what they're doing is inside the distribution wells that they're using, um, they have slots in which the fiber optic cables themselves are connected. So what they do is they have a numeration for the fiber optic cables, and when somebody new is connected, they just write down, I don't know, address 11, fibers from 11 to 12,
Mm-hmm.
and this is documentation. So if you want to connect somebody, you just find the highest number and then go and use the next available fiber that is labeled in the well. But if you skip one, nobody's going to notice, because the only documentation that they actually created was they just wrote down with a small permanent marker, this is the house number 8 in my particular case, and this is using the fibers 11 and 12. That's it. Although I'm using only one fiber, not two.
Mm-hmm.
So this is documentation. The other guy didn't even know where the splicing point was situated. So we were randomly popping up the covers and trying to find where the connection started, because he wasn't able to actually say where the connection started. He just shone the light, and then he was looking for the red line somewhere in the connections. So amazing. Even the amount of entropy that I'm able to provide in a system does not describe how this thing is connected.
You sure about that?
Completely.
Okay, so one broke the other one's connection.
Yes,
What was the consequence of that? What did they say? What are they going to do about it?
nothing.
So
No, the thing is,
responsibility zero.
the responsibility is zero, because the company that is the ISP actually uses outside providers to do the connections, and they say that they know that they're doing a lousy job, but they're cheap.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, he just told me, we know that they don't do the job well, but they're cheap. So we are using them because sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Then we fix it, and that's it.
I had a recent experience with one of the ISPs. One of our biggest ones gave me a call for my second location. They said, "Oh, we can see that you're using the competitors, blah blah blah. Something on your primary location, on the second location you have our connection, but it's DSL." They said, "We recently upgraded the infrastructure on your street. Maybe you noticed the new object that was really visible from the street, especially in their shining colors. You can guess which ones."
Yes.
And they asked me if I want to switch to fiber optics on the second location. And I only asked them one question. And I'm sure you've been around that question many, many times over, which was, do you need to do any drilling in my apartment? And do you need to physically, install the cables so that they are visible with, those plastic thingies on the wall and whatnot? They are like, most probably yes. And I said, thank you and goodbye.
I'm going to go with I know that I have to more or less destroy half of my apartment. So what I did is, since I live in the house, I uh, purposely got a huge um, distribution tube. Basically, I don't know what the English word for this is.
Okay.
I would go with conduit tube for the, um, and I got it stretched from the entrance of the house to the highest point in the house in the attic. And since there is nothing there, so I have zero things that can be broken there, because it's not even the walls are not finished, because it's just a small claustrophobic part of the attic that is maybe 160 in height, and it's hot. You cannot stand in it. You just can just basically put something like a network equipment there. So I just got all the connections up there.
Hmm.
So when somebody says they need to drill, they need to do something, I say no. You just can use the existing cable guide. Just get the cables up there. I'm going to connect them to the routers, and then from there on, I have my own network connections throughout the house.
Hmm.
Because when I was building the house, and this is one thing that I can recommend to
I have
anybody.
to stop you for a second.
Yes,
You're
yes,
leaning on this thing, so I'm getting breaks a little bit. So be careful.
okay. Let me just put it somewhere else.
Put it on the desk or something so that it doesn't break
Yes,
or something.
okay.
These cables break easily. Anyway, continue. Sorry for
Yes. Oh, how many
stopping you.
cables did I break these 2 days? Okay. Anyways, the thing is that uh, the only thing that I can tell anybody who is trying to remodel any part of the house, any part of the apartment or whatever, if you are able to strip the walls,
Hmm.
put as many conduits into them as possible, and use, for example, when I was remodeling my apartment, that is 80 square meters in the upper part of the house. I put in 600 meters of conduits in there, because I wanted to be able to connect basically any part of the apartment to any other part of the apartment to the conduits.
Hmm.
So I can push UTP, I can push FTP, I can push power cables, whatever, without them being shown anywhere.
Hmm.
Of course, it didn't work, because as soon as I finished everything, I decided that I need a couple of different connections on completely different parts of the wall. And not going to say that everything fell apart, but most of it fell apart. Even
I
though I have two network connections in the bathroom.
Why?
As I said, I just wanted to make sure I have a network connection, or I have a network cable behind my so the sink, the mirror, and then behind the mirror there is a network connection,
Why?
because I could.
I had a discussion about this in the apartment that I'm remodeling as
Yes,
well. But I had a very, very good electrician.
yes,
I used to do the job for a living for a couple of years as well, so I'm very
yes.
familiar with the ways in which this is done. So are you, because of the house and the remodeling of the second house and the apartment and what you used to do and whatnot. But anyway, I told the guy that I wanted him to get me a stack of cables, 4 cables or something like that, in the same room from one wall to the other. And this was prior to them closing up the walls, of course. This was prior to them, doing the painting and whatnot before doing the floors, and so it was probably half an hour of work for him because the conduits were already there, so they just needed to be filled. So in my case, they are pre-filled. In your case, they weren't. You just added them later, the cables later. Same result, different principle. And he asked me, why do I want that? Not because he wanted to give me a lecture. I already told him I used to do this job, so I'm not, Joe from the street. He was just curious as to why I want to do it. And I told him because the optical cable comes from that direction to that part of the room where your cables are. I'm going to have the router, modem, whatever it is, there. And then I'm going to have another network cable that goes to the other wall where the TV is and the smart TV and all of the other beautiful things that require network connection. And he was like, why would you want to do that? And I told him, because it's more tidy that way. I'm going to have some kind of a furniture on this side of the wall. I can hide the modem or the router there easily. And then this way, I only have one cable to connect to TV, and I can mount, if I require, NVIDIA Shield or whatever I might connect to the TV. I just need one more cable. I don't have to have all of the cables bundled in one location, which always represents a challenge in terms of tidiness when you are working with a boatload of devices and connections. And he was like, good idea. And he did that for me later that afternoon, sent me a couple of pictures, asked me if I'm happy with it. I was like, yeah, kick ass. That's what I wanted, and everybody happy.
But I'm going to go with putting okay, conduits is a good thing. Putting UTP is basically right now, if you're remodeling, it's just a thing that you do because the price of it is negligible.
Mm-hmm,
And I don't understand when people say, okay, we don't need any more connections,
mm-hmm,
because you are going to be using the connection for whatever it is. It could be that you are going to be using it for connecting the TV. It could be that you're going to be using for connecting to Wi-Fi point. It could be that you're going to be using for a camera. You could be using for Internet of Thing, any kind of sensor, movement sensor, humidity, temperature, light, anything. So I don't see the reason why not to put UTP cables or conduits, preferably, because then I can do different things.
mm-hmm,
Also, to make a note of it, I have a colleague of mine who went 2 steps further.
mm-hmm,
And by 2 steps, I mean he actually, when he was doing the remodeling of his apartment, he decided that he's going to create two electrical networks.
okay.
So he has a regular 240 network that powers everything,
Mm-hmm,
and then he has additional 24-volt network, so low voltage network for the devices that need low voltage. So he can actually hook up step down converters
mm-hmm,
to just get the whatever he needs in this particular part of the town, part of the apartment. And the idea is that he doesn't want to have a separate transformer converting from 240 to, I don't know, 5, because the buck converters are much smaller when it comes to space and the heat dissipation, basically.
mm-hmm.
So he has two different electrical networks. One is AC, the other is DC, and the other is 24-volt DC,
Okay,
which is also convenient. I'm not sure that I would be going that way, but it's a convenient idea.
okay. I agree. And actually, to your point, again, same result, different principle. We are finishing the remodeling of that apartment, and every single room got a whole bunch of these additional UTP cables because it's so much easier that way. It's just not worth my time to not invest a couple of €100 into that when the remodeling is happening. So both the big room, the main room, and the two rooms that are used for sleeping, they also have their own cables and the kitchen and whatnot. So much easier that way. So very similar to what you were doing, apart from the having a cable behind the some kind of glass mirror or something. That's a step too far for me.
No, but the thing is that what I'm failing to understand when people are talking about new equipment is that for some reason everybody seems to expect that the Wi-Fi is going to be a solution to everything.
Yep.
And Wi-Fi is a good thing to have. The remodeling stuff and the people who are doing the remodeling today have too much. Uh, let's go with the word faith in how Wi-Fi is going to help them.
Mm-hmm.
From what I've seen in the last couple of, I'm going to go with years. In the last couple of years, people tend to think that whatever is going to be given to them by their ISP is going to be a good enough solution for the Wi-Fi.
Mm-hmm.
They don't need any cabling inside the house.
Mm-hmm.
And what they usually end up with is the lowest bidder solution by the ISP. So something that is at most 20 to 30 euros, that is incapable of connecting more than, I think that the official limit right now in some of the providers that we have is 16,
Mm-hmm.
12, I'm not sure. So more than 16 devices, and you simply cannot connect more to the Wi-Fi. And just as a reference point, right now I have 39 connected devices to my Wi-Fi.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not the result of me overdoing it. It's just simply the result of uh, everything being connected to Wi-Fi nowadays. I have a simple Blink solution. The Blink is the Amazon's camera solution. Each camera requires its own connection to the network. So if you have four cameras, as I do, you require four devices to be on the Wi-Fi network. Also, the controller itself is on the Wi-Fi network. I have a doorbell. Doorbell requires one connection to the network. I have a couple of by couple I mean six uh, temperature sensors, the same ones that we are using in our university, because I want to be able to track the temperature and the humidity inside my house. So only those things that I mentioned right now is 12 devices.
Mm-hmm.
The spectrum for the Wi-Fi is overcrowded as it is.
Mm-hmm.
The biggest problem is than that is that it is being crowded, not just as crowded, but also crowded by devices that are slow.
Mm-hmm.
Those devices slow down the entirety of the network, simply because of the way that Wi-Fi works. Wi-Fi
Mm-hmm.
is going to solve this thing partly, but nobody is investing in regular Wi-Fi 6 routers, because
Yeah,
if you want to invest in a regular router, it's going to cost you 300 euros or something, and this is going to be too much for you.
I'm personally in the midst of the process of migrating towards that because, as I mentioned in the last episode, you know,
Yes.
this thing and some I do have 2.5G adapter both on the motherboard and on my Thunderbolt hub, etc. So I'm moving towards 2.5G because I got had the ISP installed the 2G connection, so now I can actually do that. But whatnot, we're gonna see how that works. I'm slowly but surely replacing the required devices because it requires a little bit of planning as well. It's not just rip and replace. I have to be strategic about it because I have VPN connections happening and whatnot. It's a little bit different to what people usually do. But I don't know if you exhausted this topic or not because I have another one that I wanted to kind of like have a laugh about because the way in which you made me completely stunned and laugh today, not about the ISP situation. I was aware of the ISP situation in the past 2 days, Actually, what made me laugh even more and got me even more confused at the same time was the situation with the famous U green adapter.
Yes, this is also fun.
I mean,
This all
as long as we are talking about the f-ups of various types of companies, why not this one?
Now this one is completely puzzling to me. I got a phone call. So let's put the context out there.
Hmm.
The thing that we are talking about is a small Ugreen adapter. That
It's not
is
small.
okay, but it's a Ugreen adapter basically. It's a power delivered USB-C adapter that is 200 watts. So basically the biggest one that you can buy. It was on a pretty heavy discount a year and a half ago, on sometimes before
Christmas, I think.
Easter or Christmas.
Yeah, I think it was Christmas, but never mind.
Never mind. And anyways, it was on a steep discount, and I saw that it is a fine adapter, so I decided to buy two. I gave you one, and I kept the other one. And a couple of months later, yours broke.
Yep.
It stopped working. It wasn't. It didn't stop working completely, which was fine because it didn't didn't get the smoke out of any of the devices. It simply stopped regularly charging things. It was just going into the loop and trying to detect what the device was, and then basically giving up. So it stopped working, and I got it to the official to the service center that is run by the company that sold me the device. And they said, okay, we are probably not going to be able to help you. And then a couple of months later, I just gave up on it. I said, okay, this is not going to happen. They're going to give me the money back. They said, okay, yes, they're going to give me the money back. Nothing happened after this. And then I more or less gave up. I forgot about it. It wasn't that much money. And I said, okay, anyways,
I
when
beg to
I'm going,
differ. It was for an adapter. That's a shitload of money.
yes, but okay, but I said, okay, I'm not going to care about these things too much because I was in the middle of doing a couple of other things, and then I said, okay, I'm going to do this thing for me. Okay, we do this thing with the company sometimes later, and then sometimes later become never. And then today, I got a phone call, and they said, we just realized that we didn't do anything with your adapter and that the adapter is non-serviceable. So we are probably going to have to give you another adapter because we don't have this one. So we are probably going to get another one next week. And I said, what you're talking about? Because I couldn't quite grasp what service is he talking about, because it is more than 8 months or so. I
After the
think
last
even more
contact, yeah.
after the last contact. So I was completely taken aback because somebody called me and just said, okay, we are going to give you a replacement device for the device that is on the service. And I said, what service? What device? What were you talking about? And then I realized that we are talking about something that is 8 months in the service department. How? And now, as I said, I'm just a curious guy. I'm just trying to understand what happened today that is different than the last 8 months. So why did my device suddenly became a thing? I was expecting for it to just say, for them to say, okay, nobody got picked this up. We didn't do anything, so let's just throw this thing away, and this is going to be it. So what happened? Why was there a system reset on the in the service part?
It
And
was too hot
why?
today.
Yes, and why did they decide to talk about this actually today? So, as I said, today is a curious day. I have absolutely zero idea why the things are happening. There is a couple of other things happening. I got a note from the tech service. They want me to provide them with some papers, which I provided them last week. And I said, you got them last week? And they said, okay, sorry about that. We didn't see them.
Hmm.
And this was also a fun one because it's not that I didn't use the official channels that they're using. So it just It
One of
could
those
be,
weeks.
yes, it could be that this is the nuclear apocalypse looming. So people are actually trying to sort the things out. It could be the, I don't know, sun flares, hot weather, problems with, I don't know.
Distance from Earth to the sun.
Yes. Also, I got a pretty good fun out of, and I need to mention this, and I'm going to get a lot of comments about this, but I need to mention this. While we were sweating away and trying to put the cabling together yesterday, suddenly a person appeared. I'm just going to go with a person, and this person is my neighbor. I don't know this particular neighbor because they are living in an apartment building next to ours. So my street is mixed family houses and small buildings. So I don't know all the neighbors. I used to have, but now I don't know all the neighbors. And this person showed up and said, "What is this?" Pointed to the cables. And I said, "What, the cables?" And they said, "Is this a 5G?" I said, "No, it's not, because 5G is dangerous." I said, Okay." And I was completely trying to avoid any kind of
Discussion or conflict.
no, 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 not just discussion, but any kind of statement. I was trying to state nothing. I said, "No, this is not 5G. This is something else." And then they said, 5G is killing people. I said, "Okay, I'm all for you with your statements. If you want to report 5G, you can do it. There is a state authority on telecommunications. I can give you the actual mailing address for them, and then you can talk to them. I'm not here for the 5G." And then they said, "Okay, but what is inside the cables?" I said, "Glass."
Hmm.
And they said, "Okay, but how does it work?" "It's light."
Hmm.
And then they said, "Okay, I don't feel well because I can feel that something inside those cables." And then the only thing that I could say is, "Okay, if you are feeling unwell about the light, maybe you shouldn't be on the sun, and the other thing, you could be a vampire. It
Hmm.
could be a problem for you, because I don't see the reason why you should be allergic to the sun."
Hmm.
And then they went away and said, "Okay, yeah, I'm insane, and I'm..."
I'm sure that person walks around with a wooden stick looking for water. You know what I'm saying.
No, 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 no. The problem is that there is this apartment building was put up without any permits, and, and the problem is that another apartment building, uh, 50 meters away, was also put without permits, but they decided to go one step further, and they put a base station for the telecom operator on the roof of the building.
Hmm.
So there is actually a huge array of antennas pointing in all directions, and most of the people can see them from their living rooms.
Hmm.
So I know where the problem is coming from, but it's not my problem.
Hmm.
And specifically, it's not my problem because I'm behind enough concrete walls, so this is not my problem. So
Okay.
I decided that I'm just going to go with the propagation of the radio waves is not my problem right now here where I am.
I'm not going to act as if I can top all of the things that you discussed today, but I'm pretty sure I can top at least some of them. Do you know how my week started?
No, because I wasn't able to connect to the internet, so I wasn't connected to you.
Do you know how my Sunday evening went, or better, it was more of a early Monday morning?
Was this the fan incident?
Yes,
Okay, so this was this week.
yes.
Okay. So do continue.
So Sunday evening, I do because the exam period in our university has just started right now. I'm in charge of one of the let's say exam grading and document collection systems, which is built on Nextcloud. And I have to set it up for every single time when we do have these exam periods. We set it back to original state, make sure that there are no written documents that student left from themselves there, and whatnot. And I always connect on Sunday evening because that's the best time, as usually students are sleeping. So it's the cleanest, easiest, and most convenient time to do it without causing any disruption. And I connect via VPN to our environment, to log into the management system, and I notice that the server is down. Basically, I connected to the system and noticed that none of it is working. And as I said, if I was paying close attention to some of the screenshots that you sent me either on Monday or Sunday, week before, I would have actually noticed that this machine was disconnected. And by power of deduction, I could have realized that the underlying system was shut down. The reason why it was shut down was because two fans failed in a 1U pizza box server. So that was Sunday to Monday morning. In the night, it was way past midnight already. I don't know, it was 12:30 in the morning, whatnot. So there I was, hopping to my car, going back to the office, which luckily at that time of the night isn't far away, 7-8 minutes. Got there and I um, deployed, or I exchanged my two last remaining coolers for that specific type of server. And I sent an email to our colleague to order some more, and they actually arrived today. So I have 6 or 7 more now to spare. But it just goes to show you that this was just that kind of a week.
So, with technical difficulties, let's finish this thing. So this has been this kind of week, and I'm going to go with. Uh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I can hear you. I can see you. So I'm just going to go with everything is working, and I'm completely blindly. I'm going to blindly go with the this part. Uh, so uh, the only thing that I wanted to say is that you don't know this, but on Sunday, week before, I did the same exact thing that you were doing. I had to reconfigure. I had to reconfigure a router, and I wanted to reset it. It was a pfSense. So what happened was that I actually reconnected the router. I got it to reset, and nothing happened after this. And then I had to spend 15 minutes going to the data center, pushing a reset on the server, and then everything came back okay. That was it. So, what you didn't know is that last week on, I think it was Sunday, I decided that I need to do some upgrades on PFSense routers that I have at the client of mine.
Mhm.
And as you know, probably the worst thing that you can update is the router,
Mhm.
especially the Edge one, because if you don't have any other ways of connecting, you have to go to the data center. So I pushed the update of the PFSense. PFSense updated itself. It started. The first one went fine. One of the other locations also started fine. Everything was fine. And then it just simply froze.
Mhm.
So, as you said, half past midnight, me driving a little bit. It's not far away. It's probably, I don't know, under a kilometer from here. Now, but nobody on the road. It took me maybe 4 minutes or 5 minutes to go get there. I woke up the guy. I went to the data center, came to the server, connected the console display and everything else, and then actually realized that the server simply froze for no particular reason. I
Mhm.
restarted it. Nothing changed. Server kept working completely fine. Everything was fine. I restarted it 3 times in a row. It is right now working fine. Zero idea what happened. I just had to be there.
Hmm.
So I just went there, made my bows to the gods of data centers, and then went back home and got some sleep.
Yeah, I had a classroom computer that's server actually, purple screening last week as well. Maybe it's just a long stream of, it's just one of those weeks or something.
My feeling is that everybody is getting tired, including the computers, because nobody knows what is happening. So the computers also switched to some sort of fuzzy logic, and then decided that enough is enough, and let's see what's going to happen next.
So vacation.
Yes. On that thing, let's finish this thing. Good luck patching this thing up, and we'll see you.
Zencaster has been the champion of the week.
Yes, and let's talk next week while I'm going to be visiting the. Am I allowed to say that I'm going to UK?
Yes, you are.
Yes, so I got the adapters, I got the everything that I needed, and I'm now completely prepared. And I'm going to say that all the things that we said in the episode, how to prepare for the going abroad, actually made sense.
Excellent.
Also, UK has, if you take a look, you need to take a little bit of a look, but UK has immensely huge data data eSIMs. It's something like right now I got something like 100 gigabyte bandwidth for something like 10 pounds.
Okay, you'll
So
let us know how that worked next time.
we are going to see how this works next time because this is going to be our next recording.
I don't think that's going to happen. I'll have to prepare an episode by myself. I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Anyways,
See you next time.
see you. Thank you for being with us, and see you next time. Bye.
Bye.